Hello, I am Angela from Chaotic, Neutral, and Dog, and technically Cat. I am at my parents' house. It's after Christmas. It's wonderful. I love it here.
A few moments later.
I might very well go insane trying to do this video because there's so much commotion. He's making stone steps like a badass, but right now I just want to make a makeup video. What I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to rank all of my eyeshadows from my 2021 Pan Those Eyeshadows. So I found out the other day, I finally counted up all of the eyeshadows that I hit pan on in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I have a total of 21 eyeshadows that I hit pan on. Impressive for me. I didn't know what to expect. Last year I hit pan on 21. This year I hit pan on 21 as well. Maybe for 2022 I'll try to at least hit pan on 22 eyeshadows or keep the 21 eyeshadow streak going. But yeah, I just wanted to rank the eyeshadows that I had the pleasure of hitting pan on this year. So how I'm ranking these eyeshadows is basically on how good the formula is, the color, how much I love the color, and how much I enjoyed having the shadow in my project. That's basically kind of the three criteria is color, formula, did I enjoy it? And also, actually, was it a color that I enjoyed so much that I went back to it? Let's just get started. I have 21 eyeshadows to go through. Also, if you would like to, check out my playlist for my Pan That / Those palette / eyeshadows if you want to kind of guess how I'm going to rank all of these eyeshadows. Ranked in last, in 21st place, in 21st place, is from my Morphe Such a Gem palette. Guess which one it is from here. It was Amethyst Awe. Beautiful. Look at that wonderful pan. Amethyst Awe is in last place because if you remember, it's really because of the criteria of how much I did not enjoy this eyeshadow. It was in my project for months and I did so many eyeliner looks to try to get it out. It worked in rainbow looks and eyeliner looks, but it's like this weird satin purple. And once I started to use it for eyeliner looks, the formula completely fell apart. I tried to use it as a regular eyeshadow and it was blotchy, patchy. It was bad, not good. Did not enjoy this one. The Barney purpleness is fun, but the formula and my enjoyment of it is what brings it down for me. Also, this ranking is not something that's set in stone. I feel this way right now about the eyeshadows, but I bet you a week from now or a month from now, I will feel differently. But this is how I feel right now. Don't take it too seriously. Next up is from the Juvia's Place Magic Mini palette, and I have it depotted here, and it's Yajid. Right there, I have it. It looks beautiful swatched, and it was decent, but as you may know, I don't like dark blue or dark green mattes, really. I just don't like them. I don't gravitate towards them. They're honestly a reason why I don't buy certain palettes, is because I have a couple dark blue mattes and a couple dark green mattes, and I feel set. I don't need more than like one because I never use them. I never gravitate towards them. Not only that, Yajid, even though the color is great, the formula wasn't. It was fallouty. Hello, Kovu. The only plus about it is that the formula is so powdery that I didn't have it long in my project. So that was the plus. Next up, in 19th place, Yajid was 20th place, now in 19th place, is a shadow. It's purely because I find it boring. It was a boring shadow to me. It's perfectly fine in formula. It was okay. And that's Cypher Umber from the Modern Renaissance palette. And it's a single now. I depotted it. And also what I have here, I'm trying to create more little palettes with my singles, and I wanted to do a pink lemonade little palette inspired by the last video I did where I had a like pink lemonade-y look, and Cypher Umber is in here. The reason why it's ranked so low is just because I hate rolling in dark brown mattes into my project. Even though I know I'm going to use them, it's totally fine. I'll get use out of it. I'll hit pan on it easy because they are a useful shadow. Useful is just boring sometimes. So here it is swatched. I'm kind of doing a weird swatching. So 21st, 20th, 19th place. I'm going to talk about these next two shadows together because they're in the lower half of my ranking for the same reasons. And that's Stargaze and Kuba. Stargaze is from the Celestial Storm palette. Look at this giant pan. The other one is Kuba from the Juvia's Place, the Tribe palette. The reason why it doesn't look like there's a pan is because you see like the shadows kind of coating it on the bottom. Look how beautiful the color is. Like Kuba, oh my gosh, Kuba's color always makes my heart go pit-pat. And Stargaze also has this beautiful shine and glimmer that I love. I love both of them so much for the color, like so much love. When I swatch them, I fall in love with them. But when I try to use them on my eyeballs, I remember why I hated them. It's very much toxic relationship. Some days are great, and some days you're like, oh my god, this is why we need to separate. I'm so sorry. It's very much like a love-hate relationship for these shadows. And Kuba was the reason why I got the NYX glitter glue in the first place, which did help. And I'm glad I have the NYX glitter glue now. Yay, progress, growth in my eyeshadow game. But it still didn't fix the problem. Kuba and Stargaze still had crazy fallout. Stargaze, you had to build up a bunch. At least Kuba had good impact. That's why it's ranked a little bit above. And the color still is like my favorite thing in the world. But the enjoyment of them in my project was so low because every time I did my eyeshadow, I was like, is it going to mess it up? Is it going to mess it up? And almost pretty much all the time it did. Both of these, because I love their color, I use them as nail polish, and that's how I got to hit paint on them. But yeah, that's why they're ranked so low. In 16th place is OnOne, this swatch over here, by ColourPop from the Chasing Rainbows palette. Look how pretty it is with Stargaze above it. But why is it ranked ahead of Stargaze and Kuba? Honestly, because even though I still got some fallout from OnOne, it was a better formula. Like, it was more reliable. Here it is in my singles palette with the colors. It's right there. I enjoyed having it in my project somewhat. It's still not the colors that I gravitate to. It's the type of color that I like to look at and I like to have in my life, but not on my eyeballs, you know what I mean? So there's OnOne, but you see that shine? It's on par with Stargaze, honestly. Just better, higher impact formula. Stargaze you have to build up. I don't have a problem with buildable eyeshadows. I have a problem when it's this kind of color and when I try to swatch it on my eyes, I have to go in again over and over and over to like rub it on my eyes and hope that it sticks. Like, that's my problem with Stargaze. But OnOne, you don't have that problem. It's high impact from the get-go. The fallout I remember from OnOne was more easily sweep-awayable than like Kuba. It was just more workable. I'm going to talk about the shadows in 15th and 14th place together as well, because like Kuba and Stargaze, they are in this position for the same reasons, and that is Cherry Juice in 15th place and Baywatch in 14th place. Cherry Juice is from the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette. It is right there, my little pan. Baywatch is in my ColourPop Main Squeeze palette, right there. The reason is, I love their color. They worked well in the project. The color is great, but what happened was I forgot about them. I never gravitated towards them after the project. The formula on both of these is fine. Honestly though, for Baywatch, I wish it was more shimmery and less metallic-y, but that's okay, you know, we can still work with it. I enjoyed them during my project fine, like, you know, I didn't love them in my project. Next one is Don't Care at All from my G-Potted Too Faced palette, which was the Pretty Rich palette. And that is it right there. This is my neutrally singles palette, not very neutral, it's very colorful, but that's it right there. See that little pan in the corner? And this is it swatch down here. When neutrals roll into my project, I get bored. It's not my favorite thing to roll in. I much rather see colorful shadows roll into my project. The reason why it ranks so high for me, and it's kind of in the middle of the pack, is because it was good. The honeyish gold color I got sick of in the middle of the project, but now I like it. The formula's great, so it's in there. It's in that part of my ranking. In 12th place is from the Morphe Such a Gem palette, and that is Catch the Light. I just swatched it below Don't Care at All, but look at the sparkliness of Catch the Light. Totally does catch the light. That's how it looks swatched. This is what it looks like in the palette. I have a big pan right there. I did use it a few times, I think, after I rolled it out. This was the first time in my eyeshadow makeup lifetime that I was shocked when I hit pan on it. It totally took me off guard. I did not expect it. And it's a good shadow. It does crease a little bit more frequently, but it is kind of this beautiful champagne-y neutral shadow with a bunch of glitteriness and glimmer, and I love that about it. I remember that Catch the Light and Don't Care at All were kind of in the same time period of the project, and I used Catch the Light to kind of neutralize the honeyness of this shadow, and that's why Catch the Light is kind of ahead, because I do like this kind of more champagne tone. I just think it's beautiful. I could use it in the inner eye. I can stretch it out more onto my eyelid if I wanted more of a light eye look, and I'd be like a glittery queen. That's where that is. I'll switch to my other hand now. I struggled, honestly, with ranking this next one. I didn't know where to put it because I'll have to explain. I'll tell you what it is and then I'll explain. So this next one is Baby Jane from the Psyche's Box palette that I love. I love having this palette in my collection. And Baby Jane is right there. And this is what it looks like swatched. My thing with Baby Jane, I loved how it challenged me with my eye looks. I did these light, more fairy-ish looks that I hadn't really done before Baby Jane came into my project. And it challenged me in that way, and I liked it. I like the formula. I like the experience of it in my project. I didn't really return back to it, and that's because this tone of pink isn't necessarily my favorite. It's like a bubblegum pink. It's ranked high, which you were like, why is it ranked so high if the color isn't your favorite? And it's because I did enjoy it. It challenged me. It is still a beautiful color. I want to use it more, but it's not the exact tone of pink I love. There's something about it that needs adjusting in my head, but I still love it so much. But that's why it's not ranked so high. In 10th place is a shadow from the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette, and that is Bittersweet. Now, these were the two shadows in my project this past year. The pan kind of looks smaller because I just swatched it and some shadow fell in. These shadows were in my project in 2020, and Bittersweet is in 10th place. I swatched it below Baby Jane, my bad. But the reason why Bittersweet is there is because I love the color of this. It is such a cool purple, and I tried it as a blush, and I loved it as a blush as well. It's really pretty. It's a really unique purple in my collection. It's a good formula. I didn't really go back to it after the project. A lot of times after a shadow rolls out of my project, I like breathe a sigh of release and I need a break from it for months. And I think that's how it was with Bittersweet. I had to use it a bunch to hit pan on it, but it was really good. This next one I told myself not to forget and leave at home because my ColourPop Super Shock singles are stored in a different spot than my palettes. But when I was packing, I was kind of being a speed demon and I forgot again. But it's There's a Cloud by ColourPop. I'll try to find somebody's video or some photos. I'll credit them. There's a Cloud is this beautiful orange metallic, and the metallic is like, the metallic of it is so strong and intense, and I love it. I'm into oranges. It's not like a true orange, it's almost like a bronzy coppery orange, and it's just so beautiful. So There's a Cloud would be like right here, but I just don't have it with me. Bummeroo. In 8th position is a shadow from my ColourPop Sailor Moon palette, the Pretty Guardian palette. There's Love. I love revisiting all these old pans. You see that? And there's Love swatched. The color of Love is much more what I like than the color of Baby Jane. And it's just a little bit richer. Love is much more the color where I'm like, wonderful. It has this like silver pinpoints, as ColourPop says, in the shadow, but when you swatch it, you do see it. You see, sorry, my face is just too in focus. You do see like a shimmer, and that I don't care about. It's not necessarily popping up enough for you to notice, but it's like, okay, what's the point? Why is it there? It's okay that it's there. Fine, whatever. But that is Love. So pretty with Bittersweet. The next shadow is from my Orange Glad ColourPop palette. Look how rough and weathered it looks. But it is, and you can see it on my hand already. In 7th place, it's Sunkissed. Sunkissed looks like that. It's like a pure Cheeto dust, orangey yellow shadow. And the reason why I have it ranked where it is because I'm in my orange and yellow eyeshadow phase. You can't tell by the silvery look that I have on right now. I never go for silver, but for some reason today I was really feeling it. I did my nails in silver as well, but I love orange and yellow. Like 2021 for me was orangey and yellow looks. I gravitated towards them so badly. Rainbow looks as well, but I just loved going towards the oranges and the yellows. And that is why Sunkissed, just because I love the color so much, the formula is good. I used it after it rolled out my project. I enjoyed it during my project, but it definitely was, ColourPop mattes take forever to hit pan on, so it was definitely something where at some point I was getting tired of it, but that's okay. That's what happens with colorful mattes, is that from ColourPop, is that it just takes a really long time, even if you've used the shadow before. In 6th place is a shadow that, when I say it's one of my favorite shadows, I feel like I have to defend it because it doesn't make sense, I guess, why I would like it so much. And it's actually in my eye look right now, and it's one of the shadows I reach for the most. Like, I reached for this shadow a lot outside of this project before and after. It's one reason why I keep the Morphe Such a Gem palette around. The shadow that was in my 2021 Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan was Pearlescent. Pearlescent, there you can see, and there is a swatch of it right there. And it's the only shadow that I'm wearing right now in my look. It's on my brow bone. I mean, it's the only shadow from my 2021 project that is in my look right now, in this gray silvery look. And the reason why I love Pearlescent so much, even though it doesn't make sense for me why I love it so much, it's not a glittery shadow. It's not glittery at all. It's a neutral. It shouldn't make sense that I love it so much. The reason why I love it, I don't have any shadow like it in my collection at all. Nothing else like it. And it is a shadow that just brightens up my eyes like instantly. Obviously, it's a pearly white. That's why it's called pearlescent. But like look at my eyes. Look at how much my brow bone just like pops out now. That's what pearlescent does. It isn't that glittery. It doesn't look like a metallic. It's not coating your eye in like this thick color, in this opaque color. It's really this satin that brightens. It is a brightening eyeshadow. I don't know how to explain why I love it so much. I'm trying my best, but like just look at it. It's definitely it's a frosty shadow. Doesn't work with every look, but in a lot of my neutral looks, I've been using it to just brighten, especially if it's not a warm toned look. If it's not a warm toned look, I can use it and it looks great. Surprising True Love is pearlescent in this palette. This next one is a Cleonet single. It's Flicker right there. So this one's in 5th place. But the reason why Flicker is in 5th place, I actually didn't, oh, you can barely tell. There's pearlescent right there. But there's Flicker. You can see like the warmth. I ranked it high because it's just a very unique shadow in my collection. The peachy duochrominess. And it was very useful. I could use it in my inner corner. I believe I used it by itself on my eyelids before. The formula works better when you don't wet it. You have to keep it powdery. Oh my gosh, it looks better in person, not necessarily on camera. I'm trying to show you. In person, there's something different about it. It's much more glowy in person. In 4th place is a shadow from the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dream palette, and that is Horizon right here. There it is in the palette. There it is swatched. The reason why I have Horizon so high up is because it was a very versatile tone shadow. You could use it in more yellowy looks, even though this is like a chartreuse and it in the palette to me it looks very green, probably because it's surrounded by all these reds. And when red is paired with like green, or let's say this shadow that's like a mix of green and yellow, if reds are next to it, it'll bring out more of the green tones in it because they're opposites on a color wheel. Anyways, when you have it separated out from like all those reds, like let's cover that. It looks more golden. You can see like it feels more yellowy, right? So I could use it in yellowy looks, really, in neutral looks, and I could use it in green looks because it can shift that way. This shadow is like a shapeshifter chameleon. It can work in several different kinds of colorful looks and neutral looks, and I love that about it. I love the formula. Lunar Beauty's formula is amazing to me. It treats me well. And am I getting eyeshadow on my jumpsuit? Maybe. The experience of reaching into this palette in general is one of my favorites. When I look inside, I get so excited. And it was just such a pleasure having this shadow from this palette in my project. It's one of my favorite shadows in this palette. You might be surprised that this one is in 3rd place. And maybe I would boost it down to 4th, honestly. But right now, I don't know, I'm feeling this color. We're gonna go back to Psyche's box, and that is Fantasia down here in 3rd place. Fantasia looks like that swatched out, and the reason why I have it ranked so high is because it's a very unique shadow in my collection. It's this pastel lavendery purple, like very pastel. I love reaching for this palette. You already know that. I enjoyed having it in my project. The color is amazing. Formula, at first it was iffy for me. Now I get this formula and I'm able to work with it pretty easily. And I did reach for this after the project. With these colors around it, I'm getting inspired right now. Fantasia is just one of those eyeshadows where I want to figure out how to use it more. I'm loving these colors right now that are in my top. Again, remember, there's a cloud is somewhere in here, but Fantasia was just so pretty, and I loved It was a great experience having my project also because this formula is so easy to hit pan on, so I enjoyed having it in my project for sure. But that's number 3, third place. What? Yeah, I know. Third place, a lavendery purple. In second place is from the ColourPop Pretty Guardian palette. I had 2 shadows from this palette in my project this year, and it's the Silver Millennium shadow. Super Shock formula. You can't really, let me try to ignore my disgusting hand. Oh, my face. Ignore my disgusting face too. But there's Silver Millennium right there. It's kind of this champagne-y, sparkly Super Shock. The reason why Silver Millennium, for example, is so much farther ahead than Catch the Light is because Silver Millennium didn't crease as much as Catch the Light. It is a formula I really enjoy. Now the sun is like, hello, and totally ruining the lighting. But that's okay. What? I was so excited when it rolled into my project. It was the first pan of 2021, like the first pan of 2021. I enjoyed it throughout my whole project. It wasn't in it long, but I also reached for it so many times throughout the year. The pan has grown. I use it all the time. When I reach for this palette, I'm usually going for Silver Millennium or Justice. Pretty much any of these 4 I'm using. This is why I'm reaching for it. I'm actually getting more into this top row a bit, the top matte row, trying to use those. But Silver Millennium I reached for a bunch. It is such a good shadow. There, the sun's cooling down now. You can kind of see the shine a little bit better. Are you ready to hear what's in first place? First place might be shocking. Also, by the way, the shadows in first and second place last year were 2 Kaleidos shadows. They were both from this palette. These shimmers were in my first and second place last year. Tron was number 1, and what is this one? I forget. Tron and Shockwave. Tron was number 1, Shockwave was number 2. So the Kaleidos formula was in my top. Now in second place is ColourPop, and in first place is also ColourPop. In first place is a shadow from the Orangey Glad palette, and it was just in the later half of my project, and that is Squeeze Me. I'll swatch it. I love it. Okay, so there it is as a pan, and there it is on my arm. It is a unique orange in my collection by far. It's this beautiful shimmer, and it's really about the color on this one. It has this iciness going through it. This orangey creamsicle shimmer is just gorgeous. I loved having it in my orangey looks. It's lighter, so you could use it more, I feel like, and not have a heavy eyeshadow look. It's also a shadow. I experimented with it. When you sheer it out, like what I'm doing over here, you can easily use it as a blush topper or kind of highlighter dealy. And I was very much into blush toppers in 2021 or heavy highlight, like glowy cheeks. Even if it doesn't look good or whatever in people's opinion, I love the glow. It's just sparkly things, the magpie brain, the artist glimmer and color brain just loves that glowiness. Discovering that Squeeze Me could be that versatile for me, where I can sheer it out and get a glowy, blushy cheek. I was sold. I was set. Now you can compare top half, except there's a cloud. Maybe I'll put a little picture of it right here. The trend of the top half, my favorites in 2021, is definitely oranges, light shimmers, pastels, and rich mid-tone shadows. Like Love and Bittersweet are like rich mid-tone. They're not very deep, but they're very rich. I almost want to compare it to the other top half and see if my favorites have persisted. And here's the bottom half. You can pretty much tell the trend there. Like I said, jewel tones, deep shadows, not my favorite. I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you liked my ranking of my eyeshadows this year, and thanks for bearing with me, you guys. Thanks for sticking around If you've been here since the beginning of me doing Project Pans, what? Wow. Say hi to me again. Let me know. Oh no, that's insane that you've been so loyal to me and just followed me along still on my journey. And I hope you enjoyed my whole Project Pan this last year. Look at these babes. It was really a good project this year. I really enjoyed it, even though I was stressed out my mind and these bottom ones, bleh. But wow, what fun colors I got in my project, honestly. I hope you're doing well mentally and physically. Please tell me how you're doing, if you enjoyed this project and enjoyed this ranking. Were there any colors that surprised you? I hope the holidays are treating you well and that you're getting your rest. And I'll see you later. Bye.